Alright, hey everybody. So it's day 22, and day 22 has us collecting a bunch of scrap and making a sculpture out of them. Um, if you've been following along, my day 21 challenge, I had to say goodbye to that save. Uh, the There's some kind of save glitch that I encountered that's evidently fairly common where I could no longer save. So, uh, I think we're gonna just continue adding to the scrap pile here. Uh, I'll kind of want to do some stuff with these, with the wrecked habs, and I want to say that there's a couple more out that way, and I know there's some stuff out that way. So, uh, I have no game plan going into it other than I think I want to do something with these. Maybe stack them up. Uh, maybe make like a jungle gym kind of thing. Might integrate this thing. This thing was already here at the time I started this save. This is just a wrecked part of a spaceship. So we might integrate this because it is, it is junk. So yeah, let's see what happens, and we'll start up with the time lapse. that was interesting. I don't think I'm going to end up making anything terribly recognizable, but when I just leaned this solar panel up against these stacked pieces here, this piece seemed to have tilted separately from this piece. I just thought that was kind of interesting that they would opt to give this piece a little bit more dynamic characteristics other than just being a piece of space junk. I mean, it was already pretty neat that they made it work with power. But yeah, they didn't have to do that. I think that's pretty neat. Alrighty. So clearly manipulating this space debris is not my forte. Uh, but I made a kind of a jungle gym out of it. I didn't really have any... These things don't really serve any purpose other than maybe bracing this from sliding down. But you can come up here and hopefully the whole thing doesn't fall over and slide down. So less of a sculpture and more of a just a thing you can interact with. But yeah, like I said, manipulating this stuff isn't my forte. There's bound to be someone else who's going to knock this one out of the park. And maybe it's easier with two people. Like I've considered the idea of maybe each, maybe 2 or 3 people, each having a winch on their own, connecting the winch to something, and then you having 3 people, 2 or 3 people manipulating a single item. And that way you can kind of push and pull so that the object, twists and spins in specific directions. But actually, I know some people have been able... Yeah, see, this stuff is not stable at all. I know that there are people who have been able to manipulate this stuff, very precisely. I want to say Zelly and some of the Flatlanders early on, basically, like, either they took one of the mostly completed spaceships and like hoisted it up in the air and kind of set it on some floating rocks or something, or either that or they reconstructed one out of these pieces. I don't know the full story on that, but all I know is I remember seeing a thumbnail of a video where there's like a whole spaceship just up in the sky. So clearly there are better people than I to manipulate this stuff. But this is what you're gonna get from me. So here's my space junk sculpture, kind of. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. See y'all later.